Hey guys, it's time for Breakthrough with Coach Lew. Coming to you live from Studio 700 at Revitalize Life Fitness and Life Coaching. Coach Lew will help you break through anything that's stopping you. Are you ready to get the body, the energy, and success you deserve? With no further ado, here's Coach Lew.
Hey guys, awesome Monday morning right here. It is Coach Lew. I want to talk to you about now what this morning. But before we get started, I noticed something that was really unique. I tuned in on my phone just to see the time that it takes to notify you that we're actually live. If you're watching on our sites, that's amazing because that's the best way to see and experience this because you can chat and so forth. But if you are watching on Facebook, I noticed it takes a while for it to notify that I'm live on those pages. So it's not that we have a major delay in actually broadcasting, but you don't see that I'm up and live. So try to watch these on our pages, and especially right now with the whole now what and the social media and the censoring and some of the stuff that's going on. Not that I would imagine I'm on the censor list, but we want to make sure we're delivering the message to you so you can live the best life ever. And we don't want anything standing in that way. So make sure you're definitely going on our pages. And I'm watching the notifications come up going, Coach Lew's live, Revitalize Life is live right now, as we've already been live for quite some time. So I'm noticing a lag on that. So make sure you're tuning into our pages, number one. Number two, please participate in that chat. If you have questions, anything else, chat in, call in. I'll take questions. We'll do answers. This is for you guys that we're doing this. I don't do this just to go, hey, let me get on camera for a little bit. I love it. I love doing this, being candid with you. Candid Camera. Remember that show? See who's old enough to remember that out there. But seriously, I love talking to people. I love bringing, cool stuff to you. So yes, it's a little bit about me, but a whole lot about you. It's 90% about you guys. So I'm going to ask you the question. Have you asked yourself lately something similar to this? We've made it through 2020. Now it's 2021. Now what? See, that has a certain connotation of expectation, Hey, 2020's actually, it was, a very tumultuous year. Some people failed and fell flat on their face and didn't make it through the year. Some people came out of that year rip-roaring like, a race car on the green light and, with a bunch of nitrous. Whoo, blew through it and, grew. And other people just absolutely were down and out and depressed. And some people, killed themselves in 2020, which is sad because they were depressed. They felt like they lost everything or they were isolated. Other people found ways to communicate and connect to people and help people and develop and grow. And they might tell you 2020 was the best year of their life. Now, you might go, that SOB, how dare somebody say that? And I think we would be taking that out of context to where, it's not that they're glad that we've had so many problems, but that they innovated their lives, their businesses, their emotions to be able to have a takeaway to go, I grew more this year. I was able to contribute more this year. Some people say, well, I was able to bitch and whine more this year. I lost everything. So there's a lot of different connotation. You might say, we made it through 2020. Now what? Well, with that expectation, you're going to go, what's going to get me now? What if you went, we made it through 2020. It was quite a growing experience. 2020's here. Now what? Now what can we do to go forward? And we all know that I'm not exactly thrilled with the political platform of the world right now. We all know that's clear. I don't think any of us are. Nobody's really celebrating because everything's so in a tailspin. But I'm not looking for a new president, quote unquote, or the old president or the next president. That's not going to affect who I become and who I am as a person, nor does it affect you. Is it set an environment that you may have to adjust in? Yes. but nobody's going to magically walk in that Oval Office and the world is just going to become all one big kumbaya. Okay, that's not, we're not we don't want a dictatorship where somebody says this is the way it is, that's it, kumbaya. Okay, that's not the American dream. So we've got to make our own environment, is what I'm getting at here. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter, what disease is going around. It doesn't matter, who's going to shut this down or who's going to, plan a coup d'etat, who's going to do whatever. You are still responsible for how you respond to it. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not saying that everything's perfect and, oh my God, life is great and we're in the best environment to go forward. No, we're walking in mud in a lot of cases, up to our necks, if you want a proverbial on that. But the point is how are you going to handle that? That's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is you. Now, what is it for you? What is this year going to hold for you? What is the next decade going to hold for you? I've got a story here for you. And we're going to do the story of two businesses. There's a mom and pop business. They were doing really well. They've been around a long time. They're a little coffee shop and bakery on the corner. And they're like, every morning people line up. Mama's got the best cakes, the best pastries. Papa makes the best cappuccino. Everybody knows everybody. It's just a meeting place. Many of business deals have been signed here. They're the spot, and they're just this wonderful family business. Along comes COVID and shutdowns, and people can't be in there, and they close up and they go home, and it's quarantine. Oh well. We got a little bit of savings, so they keep their rent up. They do the right thing. They're good people. And 6 months down the road, they're gone. They can't pay the bills anymore. They're getting kicked out of their house. They've lost everything due to COVID or that frickin' president or this, that, and they've adopted that victim mindset of I lost all because of X. Let me tell you a story of a different business. Auction company. Mom and pop type of business. Thursday night, they have auctions Thursday nights and the first and third Saturday. Thursday night, governor hands down the order, no groups over 10 people. Well, their auctioneer is doing the auction, looks out over this crowd of about 110 people and goes, what do I do? Pick my favorite 10 for Saturday night? And, it seemed pretty bleak, auction, people. You gotta have people to buy the goods, and it was scary, but they said let's sit down and figure this out. Well, let's do a digital auction. Everybody else is doing that. We can have estate sales during the week, and people can walk through and buy stuff. That didn't work real well anyway. What do we do? And starts calling every digital platform and. Well, you put up a picture and there's a timer, and they didn't want to lose that personal connection to the community. The same as you wouldn't want a digital robot up here going to the steps to making yourself be away from fear. You'd go, forget this. I'm not interested in this. I want interaction. I want somebody who understands me. I want to have fun. I want to have some laughs. Whatever it is that was holding that group to wanting to show up on a Thursday night. Well, with very little sleep, auctioneer and team goes to work and sets up a platform where they can still go live, just like right now. Like I'm talking to you live. This isn't a pre-record or, you're not reading some blog post or pushing a button next to a picture. It's still happening live. And, some people are like, that'll never work. And some people were like, hey, this is cool. And some people started to go, hey, this is really cool because we don't have to sit there all packed in a building all night long. And we can do this from home, and we can have family time at the same time, or we can do this over dinner, and we can have our kids in our arms, where the kids, when they come to the auction, are fidgety and want to go home. We can be working on some proposals or stuff like that. Wow, what a cool idea. Next thing you know, a brand new idea is born that really works. Not a one or the other, not a black or a white, but this colorful, cool melding of it. And going into 21, this business is still standing where mom and pop's coffee shop is gone, and that's heartbreaking. And you might say, well, how does mom and pop run a coffee shop if people can't be in the building and this, that, and the government put them down? Well, let me ask you a question. Could they have served it to go? Oh, cool idea. What else could they have done? But you want to preserve that community. It's not about a cup of coffee and a pastry. It was about the community. They forced us out of business. Okay, you could look at it that way. But what if your mom and pop coffee shop and you go, you know what we're going to do? We're going to stream from the coffee shop. We're going to do a little reality show of, the workers making the stuff and getting it delivered and out to the curb and wear cameras and say good morning to everybody and say, hey, Joe, everybody's online watching. Say hi to Mary Sue and Dougie Pooh and whoever else. Wow, that would have been pretty cool. Okay, you can't go to the coffee shop, but you can still see your friends. You can still wave and, say, hey, we'll be back in the house soon. Maybe mom and pop would still be here. Maybe mom and pop would even be more on the map because they innovated. So that is with the story of two businesses here. What was the story of business number one? They refused to innovate. It wasn't their fault that everything happened, but they didn't innovate and they took a victim stance of, well, there's nothing we can do. We can't stay open. We can't do this. We can't. That's the C word, man. Then there's the other C word. The business said, we got to, or the G word, we got to do this if we're going to stay. We've got to innovate. The I word. Everybody thinks I is a bad thing. Innovate is a great thing. It's great to be I, as long as that's innovate. Not all about I. Okay, you see where I'm going with this. Innovation, you might say, well, I'm not in business. Okay, well, a lot of businesses or a lot of workers innovated. Hey, I could work from home. I could, Zoom into the meetings. I can do this. I can do that. I can start a side business. I can do an eBay business. I can deliver stuff. Innovation in all aspects of life. I'm not talking about you got to be a business owner to be on this show this morning. That's just the mindset that showed an example of one that went poof and one that went boom. Now, am I going to say it was easy and that everything was great? And, no, there's been some issues. But what was the real mindset between these two businesses, the one that failed and the one that grew a little bit through this mess? Okay, the real difference is mindset. Mindset is the tool that will get you through, the tool that will help you grow, or it can be the death of you. Who determines this? Who determines your mindset? You do. You may say, what if? And this is, the whole title of the show this morning is what if? What if we go into martial law like they say we're going? Okay, chances are you're not going to have military guys at your door serving warrants unless you got something to hide. Maybe you're a politician. Maybe you should be scared. Otherwise, they're not going to be like locking you in your home and somebody's going to be at your door with an M16 if you walk out and they're going to gun you down. That's not the case if that were to happen. Now, do I think something that drastic is going to happen? I really don't think that's happening at that level. But if it did happen, how can you make it through? How can you innovate your life to be able to get through? What if our country turns communist? Is another question I get all the time. Well, number one, if you allow that, boo on you. We're America and we're Americans. If we ever allow that kind of government dictatorship in our country, boo on us, poo on us for allowing it. But that's not going to happen. We're not going to allow that to happen. They're going to try to pull some stunts. Government people always do. Politicians play games because it's about cash flow, money, and stuff like that. But their best interest isn't you or I. You got a few good ones, but 90% of them are as greedy and crooked as you could find. But we, the people, are this country, and we're not going communist, guys. We're going to have some attempts. There's always been attempts to overthrow our freedoms and our amendments and our Second Amendment rights and that. You got to just stand up and say, no, this is America. This is the way we want it. We want to continue to be free. But by doing that, you can't sit there and go, I want to be free, and then be a scumbag that's a thief and, into child porn and all that weird stuff and go, I'm free to do that. No, you're not. You're free to live your life in a moral, decent standard. Does it mean you never say shit, or, you never make a mistake, or you never have a beer, or you never do something wrong? No. What it is saying is that you have the moral fiber. You're not some dirtbag that, looks at a child and thinks, ooh, or, you're going to go steal instead of working hard and buying and stuff like that. I mean, and it's so funny because I watched recently a political debate start up amongst a group. And the funny part is it was all charged at, color and party and this and that. And you know what? I guess I am colorblind, and I am. I've got some colors that I can't quite distinguish, and I've been like that for years. But I am colorblind, and I am race blind and gender blind and everything else. I don't look at somebody and judge them by what color they are, or, who they worship to, or who they decide to go home to at the end of the night. I know what my beliefs are. And I want to maintain the freedom to have my beliefs, but I also will protect your freedom if you don't believe the same as I do. What I can't stand, but to me, there's two classes. There's decent great human beings, decent human beings that occasionally make mistakes. We're human. Then there are just dirtbags, the ones that take advantage, use, incite fear, terrorism, hate, and dislike. You don't have to go kumbaya, I love every single person equally. No, some people piss you off and you don't meld with them, and other people are amazing, and it has nothing to do with their income, their religion, their status, their color, any of it. It is simply good people with some decency and moral fiber. And then there's some real scum out there that take advantage of anybody. They'll steal from their own mom, that'll rape, kill, hurt, do whatever they got to do, and then go and smile and go, well, I'm forgiven or something. Now, that doesn't cut it. Okay, so it was just funny to see how much the political rearing, that it's not, and everybody suddenly takes it on their own victimology of, why this regime or that regime is so bad to them, and it's because I'm this race, or it's because I'm this religion, or because I'm this political party, or something. Everybody's got a reason why it's being done to them, is my point here. And I'm like, and I watched a whole firefight go on about it, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you guys really that victimized that everything's got to get compartmentalized into all this separation, rather than going good person, bad person? That's what I see. I see good in people, and I try to see the good in everybody, and most people have good in them, even the bad guys, and everybody's got a little bit of bad in them. But there are some people that are just really bad, and some people that are amazing. Most people are in between. Most people are good people. They don't really want to look at each other and dislike each other for any of the reasons we just mentioned. Most people, don't hate somebody because they believe or live a little differently than them. They may not agree with them. They may not socialize together. I mean, sometimes, you get, especially religion, sometimes that pushes in a little bit of separation. Just because I respect somebody's freedom to celebrate their religion doesn't mean I want to convert to their religion, nor do they have to convert to mine, for me to respect them as a human being. The only thing I see is bad or good. And unfortunately, everybody wants to take on something, everybody who's playing victim, I should say, wants to take on something, and it's like, this is directed at me because I'm X. Well, we could always try to make and shift and do something like that. How about we go, wow, you know what? I've got great opportunities because I'm a great person, or good opportunities because I'm a good person, or I don't have much opportunity at all because I'm a shitbag that doesn't do anything and lives off society. So which do you want to be? Sorry to call it like it is, but, that's the truth. A lot of good, hardworking people that, people scoff at for one reason or another. And then there's people that don't even try, and they just sit and collect and steal and leech off society. And it's like, that's the two classes in this world. It has nothing to do with where you're from, what you believe, any of that. Either you're a good person or you're one of these dirtbags. And you know what? Most people are good people. It doesn't mean you're just like each other and you dress all the same and you walk in single file and sit down and shut up and don't talk to your neighbor like in prison. No, no, it means that you are totally entitled to your opinion. Whether you agree with me or not on certain topics, I respect your right to that 100%. Even if you don't agree with me, even if you annoy me. But where I draw the line is, are you harming society and harming people? Or you're living a decent, good life? And what you really don't even want to just live a good life. We want to live outstanding lives, but for the purpose of this example. So I'm going to ask you again, who determines your experience of life? Is it your neighbor, the president, the governor, the police, the news? Who determines your experience of life? You do. All this stuff is going on. I mean, there is stuff going on in the world that, none of us are pleased with. I'm sure that nobody wants to see people at each other's throats. Nobody wants to see the dissension. There's always going to be disagreement, but dissension is another thing. You're more than welcome to disagree with me. As a matter of fact, I like it. Sometimes it makes for a great conversation and learning and growth. Let's disagree on some stuff, but instead of going, you're bad because and you're bad because, let's go, hey, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that way? Oh, well, I learned something. I respect that. I don't agree, but I respect that. If we could all learn to go, I respect that. I don't have to agree with you, but I respect your right to believe what you believe. That in itself would be so curative. All right, so again, who determines your experience of life? Not me. I'm not determining it. I'm helping you. I'm giving you some tools, hopefully, but you determine your experience of life. You might say, that I have no choice. That's not true. That is not true. See, you can go through these what if scenarios all day long. What if there's another shutdown? Well, innovate through it. Figure it out. What if they take cash away and reset everything and rob us of everything? Really, you really think the world's going to tolerate that and stand for that? What if they make everybody get a vaccination? No, can't take away your freedom of your body. I'm sorry. But, that's not happening. You've got your choices in this world. And they're like, what if they force it? Well, go live in the woods. People lived in the woods and survived off the land and, lived off the grid. If you want to, you've got a choice. We can move to another country. Hate to ever do that. I love our country, but if our country turns into something like, like Russia's dealt with for years, or communist China, we'll be looking for somewhere else, or there'll be bloodshed in our streets, I'm sure. But seriously, think about it. There's always options. What's your best option? That is to stand up and be heard as a nation and go, we need to get some stuff straight and get on with life. Not be caught up in the news and this news. And the worst thing they ever did was come up with 24-hour news channels. Oh my God, that is probably the thing that eats up most people's time and puts out more fear than ever. So what is the tool that you need to do here? With all that aside, and see, I got you all fired up and worked up, and I know there's people going, he's right, he's wrong, he's this, he's that. I don't care which it is. Now I'm going to give you the tool. Always know your outcome for your life, your business, your career, your family, your survival. What is your outcome? Be prepared for it. Plan for it. Create it. Doesn't mean you're not going to get knocked sideways in the journey of it. Just because you make a plan, what do they say about, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans? Sometimes you're not going to go as planned, but if you have no plan, you get that Niagara syndrome and you go flying off of Niagara Falls and splat at the bottom at some point. That is a guarantee. If you have no plan and no outcome vision, you're done. You're going to just float along with it. You'll just, be prepared in life. Be prepared for what could be some less desirable outcomes. I don't want to say disasters and messes, but it could be messy. Be prepared, but don't live in fear. I'm going to tell you just one more story before we carry on, and I'm not going to keep you much longer this morning. But a lot of people stopped living during 2020. They're like, I didn't even know what day it was. I forget what month it was. And there were times I felt that way. But, a lot of folks had, family members and, like old folks' homes and stuff like that. And they had so much fear of, well, we can't go near them. We could get them sick and, they could die because they're old and frail. And they died. But not because they went in and saw them. They didn't die from COVID. Some did, I suppose. But they were so afraid of killing their relative, for instance, that they didn't go see him and they actually died of a broken heart because, they were locked up in these facilities and nobody could go see them. What about people who had these great dreams of opening businesses? And, well, we can't do that now during a pandemic. Their dream died during 2020. Now they're sitting there going, well, I'm working at home. I guess it's okay. I wish I'd see my friends that I used to work with. And, their dreams and their initiatives died. What about the people who died in 2020? What about the people who were, locked themselves down in their houses and still got sick? Or something else happened. And, they spent 6-8 months just existing till it's over. And they died. What do you think they said when they get up to heaven or wherever they're going, however they term that? And their creator says to them, God says, hey, how was the last 6 months of your life? What did you do to make a difference? I didn't do anything. I was so afraid I could get sick or so afraid that something was going to happen that wow. God goes, that was a heck of a way to spend that last 6 months, wasn't it? Think about that. What if you died tomorrow? How would you feel on your deathbed of your last 6 months, the last year, last 10 years, the last 10 minutes? Did you live it or did you let fear kill you before you went? That's the problem. If you let fear stop you, you're killing all your dreams. Does it mean that you just go, I'm not afraid of anything and, just be reckless, crazy and, act like nothing's going on that you need to be conscious of? No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is you've got to live your life today because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So don't let fear stop you. Sometimes a little bit of fear is good because you got to go, okay, that's a warning sign. There's something I've got to deal with or understand or work around. But fear is almost always worse than the reality. And think of how many times you've been cheated out of that. And you ever get, let's go back to grade school, and you get over the loudspeaker, Lew, to the office, please. And you're going, oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God, I'm in trouble. Oh God, I must have gotten, they must know it was me that flushed that cherry bomb down the toilet. Oh God, I'm in trouble. You go into the office and you're picturing this, they're going to like flog you and hang you by the flagpole and smash you with a paddle and you're done. You're in so much trouble because you're in trouble for clogging that toilet or whatever, and you get down there and your mom's at the office and you're like, oh my God, is everybody okay? And she goes, oh well, I'm just picking you up early because we got plans with Grandma tonight, and we're gonna go do this fun thing. And you go, oh, all that fear for what? Or maybe you were in trouble. Maybe they know you did something stupid. And the principal goes, hey, listen, that was really stupid. I was a kid once too. And, you are going to have a punishment. You're going to write 1,000 words why you don't do this. And you're going to do that tonight when you get home. Now get back to class and you go, oh my God, here I thought I was going to be like publicly humiliated, blah, 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 blah. And it never really happened. You see where I'm going with this. And I know I use goofy examples, but think about this. What times in your life have you feared something and feared it and you finally stepped up and faced it and you're like, well, that wasn't so bad. Or wow, that was actually pretty cool. Think of a roller coaster. How many times have you gone on a roller coaster and you're like, oh, that first hill, and you're like boom, 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 boom when you're going on it. And by the time you get down, you're going, can we go again? Think about that. It's crazy, huh? That's how fear, you can use it for you or against you. So, in conclusion today, everything we've gone through, and I know I digressed a little bit for example purposes, and we got to acknowledge what's going on in the world today. We can't just go blinders on, it's all okay, just ohm a few times with me this morning and you're going to be fine. No, you'll smack your face into a brick wall. So we got to acknowledge what's going on in the world, but we got to acknowledge that we're responsible for how we're going to behave. We're responsible for how we're going to operate within that world. So you are responsible for your lives, your actions, and your decisions. Always. Now, that may not be easy street. It might not be, okay, I decided that's all great. But we have the choices, and we have to protect the freedom for our choices to worship as we believe, control what goes in and out of our bodies, decide where we live, remain free to speak and believe as we do, and realize each day that life is a gift no matter what. And if you're waiting for tomorrow, you'll never have a life today. I don't know how much clearer I can put that. Write that down. That is profound. If you're waiting for tomorrow, you'll never have a life today. That is the gist of it all, guys. And I'm not here to pick sides. I'm not here to stir up issues. I love to stir up emotions because that's what gets you uncomfortable enough to take action. But what I am here to do is to get you to step up and live today. So remember, if you're waiting for tomorrow, you'll never have a life today. Write that down. That is profound, because what we do and how we live right here and now in the moment determines our tomorrow, determines our today, but it also keeps you from living a life of regret. And if there's one thing that I would love to know that we're reaching you with this show, is to prevent you from living a life of regret. Life isn't going to be easy. It's not a cakewalk. It's not as you planned all the time, but it is worth living. We get one life. Make it amazing. And don't only make it amazing for you, make it amazing for the people you love, but help make it amazing for the world. We have lost so much touch with what a miracle life really is. Life is a miracle. It's not, oh yeah, I love it when I hear people say, well, if only I had been born to somebody else's family. No, you wouldn't exist. So if you got mommy, daddy issues or whatever, put them aside and thank God that mommy, daddy connected at that 1 second that they did, because you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have gone to Mary Sue's family. You didn't sit up there with God and go, I'm going to go to that family, or I'm going to go there, or I'm going to go there. And the other thing I encourage you to do, and I heard this put so well, we get a card. It's like getting a card out of the deck, and that's called your start in life, where you begin. Some of the things that you didn't create because you grew up around, or, where you were born. I mean, that has factors. I'm not going to sit there and say if you're born in the inner city in the hood and you got to fight for your life from a very young age, that you're going to have the same experience as somebody who was born in a big, beautiful mansion in a gated community who has no idea what the streets are like. And the sad part of that is oftentimes that person that was born in the hood is the one that gets out and has this appreciative, great life and does great things. And the person that might have been born with the silver spoon ends up living under a bridge addicted to drugs. And I'm not saying that's the norm. What I am saying is that happens, and you go, how the heck does that happen? It's called being responsible for your actions, your life, your behavior. And stop judging so much until you can say that you live in a fashion that is different. Until you step up and have more understanding, and until you step up and do better things for your community. You can sit there and TV disc jockey from the sofa all day long and what ought to happen, till you take action to make it better, starting in your own family, your own life, your community on up. Nothing's going to change for the better until you take part. I take part. We do this all as a team. And it doesn't mean everybody just becomes androgynous and freedom for all, equal government check for all, la, la, la. That's not what we're after. I just want the freedom to get up each day, go to work where I please, live where I please, raise my family like I please, and do something back for our community in a big way or in a little way. And definitely don't do harm to others. That's not what we're out to do. We're not out to harm somebody because they're different than us. That's where if you look at somebody and go, they're wrong, you're right, I'm right, you're wrong, that's when you start taking the place of God. God is the one who decides. Now, we all have we know right and wrong. We know what we shouldn't do and what, we know that stealing, killing, hurting, and all that garbage is not right. But keep in mind that we all tend to be judgmental. If you're not like me, there must be something wrong with you. And that's where I have issue. And it's like, and trust me, there's a lot of things people do that I don't agree with. And I go, not in my world. But it's not for me to judge. I'm not there to judge you because of your decisions. The only thing that I do judge, and I strongly encourage we all do, is, are you a decent human being, or are you somebody who's an absolute bane on society? That's that I look at and go, okay, are you a good person? You might be a little different. You might have some different views than me. Or are you a total terrorist, nasty, rotten, slimeball human being that, is the devil on earth? That's the difference. There's no other differences, guys. You got to all put that away and go, be a good person, be an awesome or outstanding person is even better. But make sure that, when you approach something, number one, you go, am I doing this to my standard? Am I doing this to my Creator's standard? And am I living in a way that I'm not hurting somebody else to get to where I'm going? And you know what? What really matters? I encourage you, when you finish up today, make a list of what really matters to you today and what's taking up a lot of your focus that doesn't really matter to you. There's a lot of things happening that could really grab your focus that don't matter. And there's a few things that really make the difference. They call them the needle movers of life. What really moves you forward as opposed to what holds you back. If you're battling with each other on Facebook for 2-3 hours a day, you're not making a difference. If you get out there and you see somebody's really radically doing something that's really harmful or spewing fear or something, and you get with them and you do one of those, hey, I don't have to agree with you, but let me understand your position. Let's see what we can learn from each other, and go, oh, there is something in between. But I'm going to stop here and now, and I'm going to tell you one more time. If you are waiting for tomorrow, you'll never have a life today. Step up and live today. Live with faith, energy, passion. Always live your dreams, guys. This is Coach Lew with the Breakthrough with Lew show every Monday morning, 8 a.m. Be here. We got good stuff coming up. We're doing a goal-setting workshop soon. We are doing healthy eating and lifestyle seminar soon. I've been kind of putting those off. I've been doing the same thing I'm telling you not to do. Be a little bit candid here, because I'm like, well, what if, when, I'm setting it in stone. Look for it, do it. We're going forward no matter what, right? Can I get that handshake, high five, going forward no matter what? Let's do that. Again, live with faith, energy, passion, always live your dreams. This is Coach Lew signing off and wishing you a most amazing day. And we'll see you on the next go round.